Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of my videos, and today I've got another really interesting puzzle, another Checkmate in 2 puzzle. This particular one was published in the Illustrated Sporting and Dramatic News magazine back in 1889. I wonder what the dramatic news was back in 1889, but there we go. So this particular one is a Checkmate in 2 puzzle. I think it's a really nice, really beautiful puzzle, this one, as you'll find in all the different solutions there's a different way to play the different solution to find checkmate. So good luck with this one. It's actually quite a difficult one. I think maybe the first move might be easy to find, but then to find all the solutions might take you a little bit of time to do. So white to play, checkmate in 2, see if you can solve it. Okay, so for this particular one, there are a ton of solutions, but you'll notice that there's this beautiful pattern going on. Look at all the symmetry of all the pieces, all the pawns, all the knights, these rooks. But the only piece that is not symmetrical in this position is this bishop here. So I'll just highlight this bishop. So in order for it to create a beautiful symmetrical pattern, the move that you need to play with your bishop is to d6, and this is the start of the solution. And why it's actually quite beautiful. Now here there are a ton of different moves that black can play. So what we'll do is we'll go one by one. We'll go through all the pawn moves and we'll go through all the piece moves. So if, let's say, this pawn, we'll start with this, we'll start on this edge pawn over here. So we've got g7. Now if this move is played, this move now no longer defends this f6 pawn. So now knight here is checkmate. Okay, so that's the first solution. And the same on this side. If this pawn was to move, we take here. This is in fact checkmate as well. Notice the king has nowhere it can go to. It can't capture this bishop because this knight is protected. Same on the other side, but flip it the other way. So going back. So those 2 pawn moves don't work. Let's have a look and let's see what happens after b5. Well, b5 also has a nice solution. We have to move this rook up. This is checkmate with the rook. The king can't capture the rook because the bishop defends it. And it's really cool because the pawn is moved. It was no longer defending the c5 square, allowing the checkmate. And the same on this side. If this pawn moves, this rook can now come to e5. This is also checkmate as well. So we're really taking advantage of black's last move in order to deliver the mate. So those pawn moves don't work. We've now got this pawn, and this pawn has got 3 different ways it can move. So it can either move to d3, and after d3 you can actually mate 2 ways here. You can do it with the e rook, and that's checkmate. You can also do it with the c rook as well. But if the pawn were to capture the rook, 3 ways you can win this. You can put your king onto either c1, c2, or capture on c3. I think that's probably the nicest checkmate. And the same on this side. If it was to capture this, you can do exactly the same thing and go to these 3 squares. But I'll capture the pawn because I think that's the nicest looking mate. Right, so those pawns don't work. So we can rule those all out. But what about the knights? Well, let's have a look at all of the knight moves. So if the knight was to capture on b3, we can win this by just taking with the queen. This is checkmate. And the same on this side. If this knight were to capture here, again the queen can capture this. This is checkmate. So that doesn't work. If the knight were to come to e4, you can take with the pawn. This is checkmate again. And the same on this side. Very beautiful puzzle this. You can checkmate this. It's all the symmetry I think is really gorgeous in this puzzle. Another one, if the bishop were to come here, you deliver checkmate. Sorry, the knight would come here. You can deliver checkmate with the bishop. And the same side as well. You can do this as well. You can capture here. And then we've still got f7 as well. Again, bishop here, same thing. And the same way on this side, we can do it with the bishop there. Final one, if we do the knight over here, checkmate with the bishop, again, Oh, sorry, the knight can't do the same thing on that side, so that's interesting. But also, if the knight were to come here, you can deliver checkmate that way as well. Okay, so the knights we can rule out. So the final piece that we need to think about is, what about this bishop? So if this bishop were to capture here, we can deliver checkmate with a very nice way. Knight takes on e7. This is checkmate. And the same on this side. If the bishop were to capture here, we can take here. So really, really nice position. As I say, you know, the key to this solution is knowing that after the bishop to d6, the black king is put into a position of zugzwang. It cannot move. So any of these pieces that then move around the pawns, any of these pawns I should say, and then any of these pieces will lead to a very beautiful checkmate solution. So I hope you enjoyed this puzzle. I really like this. I think it looks very, very beautiful, the symmetry and the patterns and the many different solutions to it. So I hope you're able to solve it. If not, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do post some very nice puzzles, some of my games, and then also some great opening videos and other things like that. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.